Hello everyone, good day, and welcome to my channel Cyber Satrix. Firstly, I apologize for the delay in uploading the new videos. I know it's been a long time, and I have some of my personal reasons due to which I was unable to upload new videos. But I will try my best that going forward, I'll upload the videos in a timely fashion. Start a series for developing the classic dashboard, classic interactive dashboard on this Splunk. And this is going to be a series of videos of each around 20 minutes. So we will try to learn and create an interactive dashboard very similar to what you currently see on the screen in a series of videos. In this specific video, we're gonna cover the way through which we can develop the interactive drop-down dashboard. So be ready with some fun with the code, specifically the XML code, and also at how we can develop some beautiful dashboards on this plan. So let's kick in. Option called as create new dashboard, right? So here when you click on create new dashboard, you will have two options of dashboard here. One is a classic dashboard and one is a dashboard studio. So the classic dashboard is the one which is available from starting versions of this Splunk, and the dashboard is something new which is more customizable to the pixel level, and you can create much more advanced dashboard when compared to the classic ones, right? So we are going to see both of them. And also one more thing that I want to show you, when you click on dashboard studio, again you get two options here, layout mode. One is absolute, one is grid. Grid is a pretty straightforward simple thing which is almost equivalent to classic, but again less features than the classic. But absolute is the one where you have the full control on this, right? And we will going to look at the absolute layout of the dashboard studio. So we are going to see both of them, basic and both the dynamic and advanced dashboard, and we will work on that. Okay. So to start with, I am going to create one dashboard which says, let's say I'm going to say batch to web sales, right? So what is going to happen is that here as soon as you write the title, automatically you get an ID here, right? If you still want to edit the ID, you can go and edit the ID. So this is how it's going to create, right? You can set the permission how you want to create in a private or you want to create in a shared app. It again depends on you. And then click on the classic dashboard, since we are going to start with creating the classic dashboard first. Okay, so click on it and then click on create. So once you create a classic dashboard, this is how it will look like, the blank one, right? This is in the edit mode, and we will start working on working things here. We are going to utilize the vendor sales data set, and we are going to work on this by creating panels. Let me give you some exploration about the various things that we have here. So this is the UI of the section, and then you have input section here, right? Here the input section, you have multiple things, like you can have a drop down, you can have a checkbox, you can have a multi-select, right? And few things like that. So here we will try to see 2-3 options, and we'll try to create a very interactive dashboard with multiple options from this. And add panel is something, a panel where you could create a new dashboard directly clicking on the adding panel, right? And if you want to change the theme, you can simply click on change the theme, and you have to refresh it to just change the theme from black basically to dark theme to the normal one, right? So once you save it, this is how it will look like. And again you can go back to the edit mode, and then if you see now currently we are in the UI mode. Now you can change back to the source mode here, right? So if you see in the source mode, the basic XML query that is written here is the dashboard, what is the version of the dashboard, the theme is dark, and we are closing the dashboard, and within this we have just given the label here, right? So this is the very basic thing you will have when you start working on the dashboards, right? So let us see what we can do on this. So let's say that if I add a drop down first here, to add a drop down, we just have to go to add input and click on drop down. So it will keep on adding drop down how much you need, right? So let me close the second drop down first now, and we have one drop down here. Now if you go and check back in the source, you will see that it has created additional a set called as field set here, right? It has a set called as field set, which is basically adding an additional what do you say, button, right? Whether input type, if you see, it is a drop down. Now if I create, if I want to create one more field set, what I can do, I can just copy this and I can just paste just below this. So what will happen, if you see, if you go to the source UI, it will create two different field set with different drop down values, right? Instead, if I just remove this back, and what I want is, I don't want them to be one below the other. What I want them to be is on the side by side, right? So what I'll do, instead of this is left for deleting. So instead of creating one below other, what I'm going to create is, I'm going to create side by side. In that case, the field sets remains the same. I'll just copy the input and then I can just paste it below. Right? So if we see the UI now, you will see that they are side by side, right? So the field set is basically a single field within which how many inputs you are adding, right? If you are creating different field set, it will go to a different row altogether. If within the same field set, if you create multiple panels, inputs, it will stay in the same row, correct? Multiple field set, it will go to different rows. If you create a single field set and add multiple inputs, it will stay in the same row. So now what we are going to do here is, now we are going to, let us see what dataset we are going to use here, right? Great. So now I should have the required lookups at least. Okay, we have the prices and okay, great. So what we're going to do is, we are going to use the vendors sales as our source type, and then I'm going to add the lookup so that I can get the details. Okay, I already have the vendor and price, so I don't have to write explicitly. I can directly go ahead and do. But still, if you have not have this, what you can do, you can create multiple lookup if you need, and lookup vendors and vendor ID, right? So if you don't have already created an automatic lookup, you can use this also. This also give you the same result, right? And then let me create a table with all the required values. To save some time, I already have this table written. So what this is basically doing, I'm just taking all the field names and then I'm just adding it here: account ID, code, price, product name, and everything. So now if I run, I should be getting all the values here, right? From account ID till vendor state province. That's it. So this is your basic search which you are going to utilize to get the result, right? So if I want to create a very interactive and dynamic dashboard, then if I create multiple fields, I will not add that base summary. Let's say that I want to calculate these stats count by country, right? How many countries we have, countries list. So stat count by vendor, country, right? So I'll get this vendor country list. In the same way, if I do a vendor city, I'll get the list of city, right? So if these two drop down that I have, if I want to get a country list here and a city list here, and if I copy, if I take the whole thing and then write every time, then it will be difficult for me to make up a dynamic dashboard. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create this, I'm going to run this base search, which is going to be same across all the board. This is the base search once, and then I'm going to call this base search every time I create any input or I'm going to create any panels, right? So for that, what we have to do is, let me first delete this now. Let me go to the source. So here what I'm going to do is I am going to create below the label another tag called as search, and then I'm going to give an ID to this saying base underscore search. I'm going to create that base query which is going to be common across the board, and then I'll close this. And the search has to be written and the query has to be written within the query tag. So I'll simply go here again, I'll use query, and then within the query I will go and paste my query that I have here, right? So this is my base query. Now what I did here, I just created a search ID with the base search, and I've added the query here such that my base query always runs, right? It doesn't have to depend on the individual inputs or panels that I'm going to add. So once I add a base search, I'm good. Now I can go back to my UI, and if you see now, it is already trying to take some value input here, but we have not set anything still, right? So now to set this drop down, let's say that I want to set a drop down of a list of countries here. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to click on edit. In the edit mode, of course I am in edit mode, and once you do that, you just give a label to this. So let's say that I give the label as country, right? Click this search on change, and then search on change implies whenever you change anything, automatically it starts searching. And then we are going to give some token. So token is a concept in which you will refer this value from the another values, right? For example, if I want this specific drop down to refer to my base search, in that case I'll pass this token which I'm going to create for this specific input. So that's the reason we are going to use the token here. So let me give a token name saying TOK underscore country, right? And then default is grayed out. So what I can do first, I can go and give a give default value using the static option, right? So here you have token, then you have default value. Default value implies whenever you view the drop down, there should be a default value, for that it is used, right? If you are already set the default value, the initial value will not be set, right? Ignored when default is specified. Initial value means the initial value which will be seen on the drop down. You have a token prefix and suffix, which we will discuss. Basically, if you want to add a prefix and suffix value before the value that you are writing, in that case you can use. Here I am going to give a default value as all equal to star. So I need everything. I need a field name called as all, where it will capture everything using the star while character. So if you see, as soon as I enter the static option, my default and initial value got active. So I can simply go to default and give the default value as all. And then here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a content type, right? So here I'm going to write the I want the query, the search string in such a way that I get the list of the country. So to get the list of the country, apart from this, additionally what I have to write, I have to write stats count by vendor country. So I'll get the list of countries, right? So what we have done for the base search, you can also add this search again at the base search. If you want to see, let me show you quickly. I'll just click apply here, so at least this will be saved. I can go to my base search, and if you see, my input is starting from here, input section, right? So in the input section, what I'm trying to say, I'm saying input type is drop down. It has already taken the token which I have mentioned. Search when changed equal to true is when I clicked on that search on change. So that when I enable, it came here. This value also, label is added, choice is added, default value is added, right? So what you can do after label, If you want, you can quickly come and add the similar thing like this, right? Search and query. Okay, and then in the query, what I'm going to give is, I'm going to give my query as, what I need additional apart from the base search, I need is stats count by vendor country. So what this is going to do is, it should be, it is going to add the search string into my UI also. And I have to remove this base search because I've copied from there, because you cannot have duplicate IDs, right? And when you go to UI and you click on edit, you should be able to see the search string here. Either you can do from the back end or you can write it here, that will reflect in the back end. So let me show. If I delete this section here, and I go to my UI again, edit it, and if I write it here, right, I'll say stats count by vendor country, right, and I click on apply. Okay, so when you give a string, it will ask for the field for label and field for value. Field for label is nothing but field returned from the source to use as the option label. So if you see, my field that is returning is vendor country, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give the same name here. Whichever field that you want to view this as, you can give the same name. It's going to be vendor country, and the value also is going to be my vendor country. And then you click on apply. Now if you go and check in the back end, you will see that you will have a search just after the field for label and field for value, in the same way what I wrote, right? Now if I go here, if you see still it is not producing any result. Any idea why it is still not producing the result? What do you think could be an issue? Okay, so the issue here is that we have created the drop down, but we are not referencing the base search yet in here, right? And that is the reason it is not still working for us. So in that case, what you have to do, we have to refer to this base search. So initially what we said, ID equal to base search. Now here we are going to say in the search section that, okay, my base query is sitting under the base underscore search ID. So please check it from there and update my data. If I come on UI now, if you see it start populating, and if you click on this, you'll get the list of all the countries. So now if I want to create one more input, I can simply go and click on drop down, right? But if I click on drop down, then I have to make a lot of changes here, right? Instead, what I can do, I can go to my source again. I'll just copy this input section here, and I want this input under the same field set, right? Side by side, basically within the same row. So I'll just go and copy within the field set another input, and if I go on the UI, I'll have one more input. You can simply go here and change the label and say this as city. You can change from backend also, but it will be easier to do from here. The default value is fine, let it stay the same. And then I'm going to change this of vendor country to vendor city, so I can get the list of city, and this will become my city. So if you see, if I add this vendor city here, how I'm going to get the result? I'm going to get the list of vendor city, right, on the x-axis. So vendor city is basically the one which will be my field for value and field for label, and I'm going to apply. It's going to be capital C. So be careful with the field names, right? And when you do this, expand it, you should be able to get all the city names here. Let us have one more drop down where I'm going to add the list of product names, right? So I'll simply copy the input again. I'll go here and paste it. I'll go to my UI. I'll change the things from here. So I'll say product name. I'll say give here prod name as my token. default value stays the same. Now for product, what I'll use, product underscore name. We'll verify it once and then enter. Okay, so that is perfect. So we'll get product underscore name as our field for label, and this is fine. So we'll go here and we'll change this as product underscore name. Field for label will change, and field for value we will change, and then we'll click on apply. Right? So now we have three drop downs. One is country, another is city, other is product names. Right?